Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Total Body Strength. Jazzy here, program manager with Exos at Autodesk, and we're going to do a nice total body workout today. As always, I do recommend having 2 sets of dumbbells, a heavier one and a lighter one. So that way, as we go through and you feel your form start to go a little bit or you start to get a little bit tired, we can drop down that weight so we can still perform our best. So I'll go ahead and get into everything. We are going to do 3 rounds of the workout. We're going to do 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest, and we're going to go through that 3 times. So I'll go ahead and start with our demos here. And for our first 2 movements are going to be the same. So like movements 1, 2, 3, and 4, like first two are the same, second two are the same. We only need 1 dumbbell for each of those. So what we're going to do, turn my camera down too far. So the first thing we're going to do is going to be a reverse lunge into a press. So what we're going to do, so right now the dumbbell is in my right hand. I'm going to step back with my right leg. So we're doing opposite leg, opposite hand here. So we're going to lunge back. As we step up, we're going to press and then step back into the lunge, press on up. Want to make sure we can have that arm out to the side if we're starting to dip. Want to make sure we're using that core to keep our shoulders nice and level. So we're going to do 45 seconds on one side, and then we'll switch over to the other side. So then if the dumbbell is in my left arm, the next time it's going to be the left leg moving back. So whatever hand you're using for the press, the opposite leg is going to be the one in front. So that's going to be the first 2. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and do a staggered stance Romanian deadlift with a 1-arm row. So for this one, what you're going to do is we're going to put all of our weight on one foot. So I have my left foot here. And so all the weight is here. My right leg is going to be lined up, my toe in line with the arch of that other foot here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do that RDL. So we're going to push those hips back. I'll go this way. So we're going to push those hips back. And then I'm using my left leg. So I'm going to row my left arm up towards the butt and then stand on up. So whatever leg we're using here is going to be the arm that we use. So it's the opposite of the reverse lunge. So the reverse lunge, you're using the front leg. So it's going to be opposite. But then for the rows, it's the same side. And so then we'll do everything on one leg. And then same thing on the other side. So now the right leg, row with the right arm. So whatever leg we're using the arm to row. So those are the first few ones. And then we're going to do some core work here. So we're going to go ahead and get on the ground here. And we're going to do, first thing we're going to do are toe touches. So we're going to lay on the ground, legs in the air. Exhale, bring those dumbbells up towards the legs. So we're going to do that. And then the last thing we're going to do are dead bugs with the core assist. So having those arms right over the shoulders, push that belly button into the ground, extend one leg, exhale, come back up, and then the other leg coming back up. So that is going to be our workout for the day. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our warm up here. So we're going to make our way onto the ground here. And we're going to do a half kneeling position. We're going to do some hip flexor into hamstrings. We're going to get our quads, our hip flexors, and our hamstrings all warmed up for all of our lower body stuff today. So I'm going to start with my right knee on the ground, left foot on the ground. We're going to tuck that pelvis, squeeze the glute with the knee that's on the ground. We're going to push those hips forward. We're going to take a nice big deep belly breath. And we're going to exhale, push those hips back, toe to the ceiling, into that hamstring stretch. Breathing into that tightness. And on our next exhale, we're going to go back to hip flexor. Now we're going to push those hips a little bit further forward than we did the first time. So the more we get warmed up, the deeper I want us to get into that stretch. Big deep belly breath here. And we're going to exhale, rock back, toes to the ceiling. Really keeping that back nice and flat. The higher the toes are to the ceiling, the more we're going to feel that opening up our calves. And we can go ahead and exhale and release, come out of that. We'll do that same thing on the other side. So left knee on the ground, right foot on the ground. Same checklist. We're going to go ahead and tuck that pelvis, squeeze the glute with the knee that's on the ground, push those hips forward. We're taking nice, big, deep belly breaths, feeling the front of our hips expand. And we're going to exhale, rock back into that hamstring stretch, toes to the ceiling. Breathing into that tightness. And we're going to exhale, rock back into that hip flexor stretch. So squeezing that glute, push those hips forward, getting a little bit deeper into the stretch this time than we did the first time. And let's go ahead and rock back into our hamstring stretch. And we can go ahead and exhale and release out of that. And the last part of our warm up here, let's do some plank to pike. So we're going to be on our hands and our toes in that nice high plank position here. And we're going to exhale, push our hips up. We can even pedal those feet, get a nice little calf stretch. Get that head in between the arms, stretching out the upper back. And back to the plank. We're going to do that 2 more times, a little bit quicker. So we're going to exhale, push up. Nice big deep breath. And back to plank. And last one here, exhale, push up. Taking a big deep breath, feeling everything open up. And from here, we're just going to go ahead and walk our hands towards our feet. And when we're ready, we can slowly roll up 1 vertebra at a time. And I think we are ready to get rocking and rolling. So we're going to go through that 3 times through 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest. I'm going to get my timer going here. We're starting with reverse lunge into a press. 3, 2, 1, and go. So I'm holding it in my right hand, which means the right leg is stepping back, which means we're using the left leg. I know that sounds not correct, but I promise it is. Because when we're doing reverse lunges, right, we're using the front leg. So all of that weight is in the front leg here. We're keeping that chest right over the arch of our front foot as that knee comes out and then stepping up. Want to make sure that we're not stepping too far into that lunge, because when we do that, we're going to start to feel that in the back leg instead of in that front leg. 3, 2, 1. All right. We got 15 seconds. We're going to do that same thing on the other side. So now we're using our left leg, left arm to press our right leg. 3, 2, 1. So it's in the left arm, which means the left leg is stepping back, but that means we're using our right leg. So keeping that weight slightly forward. It does help if you exhale as we stand up, because that's going to help with explosiveness here. So inhale as we step back. Exhale, stepping on up. Keeping that whole foot planted on the ground, knee past the second toe. Really making sure we're feeling that in the glutes and in the quads. So we are going to feel it in the whole part of our upper leg, really. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have our staggered stance Romanian deadlift with a row. And we are rowing with the same leg we're using. 3, 2, 1. So I'm starting out, all of my weight is on my left foot. My right toe is in line with the arch of the left foot. Shoulder blades pulled down and back. We're pushing those hips back. And then we're rowing once we're at the bottom, and then push that ground away from us. So close that door, drive the elbow up. So if you want to pretend like you have a plane of glass all along your back, you're going to break that glass with your elbow, making sure your hand is staying on the outside of your leg. So from this angle here, as I push my hips back, my hand is outside my leg, going all the way along my quad here during that row. 3, 2, 1. And we also want to make sure that it's 2 separate movements. We push the hips back, stand, and then we row, and then we stand up. This is not all at once. So we got this On the other leg, so I'm using my right leg now and my right arm. 3, 2, 1. So we're pushing those hips back, making sure our hands are staying outside of our legs. And we want to make sure too that our shoulders are still staying level. So if you notice, as I bend down and as I row, I'm not leaning one shoulder further down. So my shoulders have, just like our hips, our shoulders have headlights on them right now. We're to blind the ground with our shoulders. So our shoulders are staying nice and level. Our back is still staying nice and flat. Push those hips back, keep that same Romanian deadlift form. 3, 2, 1. All right. We're making our way to the ground. We got our toe touches first. Oh, I thought that was 7. It's not a 7. All right, 3, 2, 1. Toes to the ceiling. Exhale, coming up. So really focusing on exhaling as we come up. That's going to help us engage the core. We want to move nice and slow through this. It's not a race. We're not trying to compete who can get the most reps in 45 seconds. We're just moving. 45 seconds is 45 seconds, no matter how fast you go. So the more we can slow it down, the better intent that we can have with the movement. I would much rather have y'all do like 10 reps perfectly versus 20 reps, but not feel it in your abs at all. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have dead bugs with the core assist. So that means that those dumbbells are staying in our hands right above the shoulders. 3, 2, 1. So we also want to make sure that the knees are directly above the hips. Really push the belly button into the ground. Exhale as we come up. So if we are extending our leg right now and we start to feel that low back coming off the ground, I don't know if you can tell that I'm doing that right now. That means we don't want to come as far. So we don't want that low back coming off the ground because that's going to deactivate our core if we let that low back come up. So only go as far low. If your low back comes off the ground any lower than this, then don't go any lower than that. So definitely 3, 2, 1. All right. Round 1 is done. We got 2 more to go. So we have about one of our dumbbells down. We're going to stand back up. 3, 2, 1. So we got our reverse lunge into the press first. So I'm using my right arm to press, which means my right leg is stepping back and I'm using my left leg to lunge. Again, making sure we're not stepping too far. We don't need to be that wide. I do not feel any of that in my front leg. I only feel that in my back leg. So we want to make sure that we're stepping a little bit closer than we think we need to. So that way, all of that weight is being used on the front leg instead of our back leg. 3, 2, 1. All right. We got 15 seconds. Then we're gonna do that same thing on the other leg. And then we got our Romanian deadlifts into a row. All right, 3, 2, 1. So using my left arm to press, which means my left leg is going back, using my right leg for the movement. Pressing off the ground with that whole foot, knees right above that second toe. So we're pushing off, using that front leg. If you notice, sometimes what I do to help myself really use that front leg is once I start coming up, I lift that leg off the ground to really focus on using my front leg. 3, 2, 1. All right. Up next, we have our staggered Romanian deadlifts with the row at the top. 3, 2, 1. So for this one, I'm starting with my left leg, which means as I row, I'm using my left arm, really push the ground away, still on this one. So just like with our squats or with our lunges, we push the ground away, heel, big toe, little toe. That's really going to help us activate the correct muscles. We also want to make sure, I don't want anyone to be touching the ground with the dumbbells. So we shouldn't be going down that far, because once we start to break that plane, we're going to start to use our back to come up instead of our glutes. 3, 2, 1. All right. We're going to do that same thing on the other side. So I'm going to use my right leg this time. And then we are going to do our core work. 3, 2, 1. So all that weight in the right foot now. Push those hips back like we're closing that door. Rowing that weight. So we're breaking that plane of glass that we got at our back. We're squeezing through the armpits as we row up, pushing the ground away from us. So all of that weight right now is in our right leg. And then the left leg is just hanging out. We're not pushing off the left leg. It's just there for support. Great job. Lots of single arm, single leg things today. 3, 2, 1. All right. We are going to make our way onto the ground. We have our toe touches and then dead bugs. And then we got one more round to go. 3, 2, 1. So really focusing, pulling through the core. Trying to get those dumbbells as close to the toes as we can without using momentum. Really exhaling, controlling the weight up, controlling the weight down. You don't want to just flop back on the ground. We need that slow lowering portion. The eccentric portion is just as important to strength and muscle growth as the concentric. 3, 2, 1. All right, we got 15 seconds and then we have dead bugs. So keeping those dumbbells just as tight today. All right, 3, 2, 1. Hands above the shoulders, knees above the hips. Push that belly button into the ground the whole time. So it's actively pushing into the ground as we pull the knee back to that starting position. Again, I know this movement can be really easy to do really quickly without actually using the core. So I want us to really focus on the intent of this movement, which is keeping our core braced, keeping everything nice and tight in between our shoulders and our hips. Great job. 3, 2, 1. All right. We got one more round to go. We're getting ready for the reverse lunge into our press. Working lots on one arm, one leg things. 3, 2, 1. We're doing that so we can really focus on evening out each side. All of us as humans, we have a dominant side and a non-dominant side. So usually one of those is going to be stronger than the other side, or maybe a little bit more muscularly developed. So for me, I'm right-handed, but my left side is a little bit stronger and more muscular than my right side. And so I like to do things one arm or one leg, so I can really focus on using those muscles. 3, 2, 1. So by doing one at a time, we can focus a little bit more on that side. So instead of doing two together, we have to focus on them evenly, but one side usually takes over. So this kind of takes that out. 3, 2, 1. As y'all may have noticed by now, if you do one movement at a time and do, the right and then the left, you tend to notice that one side, maybe you don't feel it the same as you do on the other side. So that's why doing things one leg and one arm at a time will kind of help us really focus on the muscles that we need to be working on. So like right now, I can tell my right glute has a little bit more trouble engaging itself than my left side does. So that's why I like to do lunges, because it helps. 3, 2, 1. All right, we have staggered stance into RDL, or staggered stance Romanian deadlifts into a row. Last ones of these. 3, 2, 1. So all of that weight is in my left side right now. Push those hips back until our chest is roughly parallel with the ground. Then we're gonna row. We're gonna squeeze through that armpit pit, drive the elbow, break that glass, and then push that foot. Push the ground away from us. So by focusing on pushing the foot versus pulling ourselves up is the difference between using the back and using the glutes. So I want us to all think, once we're at the bottom, we're coming up, we're pushing it to the ground. So really drive that foot, push the ground away. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Right, last time doing that on the other side. And then we'll do our core work, and then we're gonna cool down. And we're gonna move on with the rest of this lovely Thursday. 3, 2, 1. Just use my right side this time. Shoulders still both facing towards the ground. And since today is Thursday, it means it is Exercise with Exos Day. And I will tell you all a little sneak peek of what's to come. We are doing a fall themed workout. Yes, I'm bringing back spelling out words. It's that time of the year. We got to be festive. If you know me, you know I love to be festive with the time of the year. So we're getting back to our themed workouts. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right, on the ground, we have toe touches and then dead bugs, and then we're going to cool down. So since I'm bringing those back, I can bring them into the morning classes as well, if that would be fun for y'all. 3, 2, 1. If you want me to start doing some themed workouts for total body strength, definitely let me know. Or if you have any word suggestions, definitely also let me know. I want to keep it fun, but it's also sometimes a little bit more fun when you've come up with the word. So if you have fall themed words, Halloween themed, Thanksgiving, whatever you got, send them my way and I'll create a workout from it. Awesome. We're almost there. 3, 2, 1. Awesome job, y'all. All right, last movement of the morning. We have our dead bugs with the core assist. Then we're going to go ahead and cool down. 3, 2, 1. So hands right above the shoulders. Exhale, bring those knees on back. The goal is to only feel this inner core. So we really want to engage that core like we're about to be punched in the stomach. I know it's not the most friendly way of imagining it, but it does work. Exhaling as we come up, really finishing strong here. We're still working, making this our last set, best set of dead bugs. 3, 2, 1, and we are done with that total body strength workout. That flew by. I don't know about y'all, That was definitely a good one. So we're going to go ahead, take a second, grab a sip of water if you need it. We're going to go ahead and start our cool down. We're going to be on the ground here. And first off, I like to do this one a lot. If you know, we're going to do where we reach through, we're going to stretch out our upper back, but then we're going to wrap that other arm around to stretch out the chest. So we're going to get a total upper body stretch here. So I'm going to take my right arm in between the left arm, left leg, push the back of the hand into the ground, pull away with the upper back. We're going to take a nice big deep inhales into the chest. And then on our next exhale, we're going to go ahead and take the left arm, wrap it all the way around our body, tucking it into the crease of the opposite side hip. Elbow pointed up towards the ceiling. Getting that nice chest and shoulder stretch in there. And we can do one more deep breath here. And on the exhale, we're going to go ahead and plant that hand back where it was. And then place the right hand back under the shoulders. And we're going to do that same thing on the other side. So we're going to go ahead and reach through in between the right arm, right leg with the left hand, pushing the hand into the ground, pulling away with the upper back. And next exhale, let's go ahead, wrap that hand all the way up and over around our bodies. And we're going to go ahead and take one more big inhale. And we're going to exhale, go ahead and plant that hand back under the shoulder. And then the right hand. And last part of our warm up, we're going to go ahead and do some quad rocks here with that adductor stretch. So on the hands and knees, right leg is going to be stretched to the side like a kickstand. Match that arch of the foot up with the left knee here. Hands under the shoulders. We're going to go ahead and rock back. Inhale. And exhale. Come back up. Inhale, rock back. And exhale. Come up. And we're going to go ahead and do one more inhale, rock back. And exhale, rock back forward. Once we're done with that last rock back, we're going to go ahead and switch over to the other leg. So I can take my left leg out to the side this time. We're going to do 3 on this side as well. So we're going to inhale, rock back. Exhale, rock forward. Inhale, rock back. Exhale, rock forward. And last one, inhale, rock back. Exhale, come forward. And after that last one, you can stay on your hands and knees, seated, kneeling, standing, however you'd like to finish out. But that is going to be all the time I have for you all this morning. So thank you so much for joining me. I'll make sure to avoid some words with B's in them, Dan, for the themed workouts. Great job this morning. Thank you all so much for joining me. We do have 2 stretch breaks today with Luis, one at 11, one at 2:30. We have exercise with me at 12, dance with John at 12:30, and then abs, core, and mobility tonight at 4:30 with Luis. So you can join any one of those through the Exos Fit app. Highly recommend using that app. You can chat with your coach anytime. Super cool feature there. And then we've got a fun program coming up for y'all next month, starting next month, a new 8-week program. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But thank you all for joining me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and great job.